Hello, my name is Hassan Sorrells, and this is the Leadership Lessons from the Great Books podcast shorts. There's no co-host on these shorts episodes. These are now around 2 to 4 minute, sometimes as long as 6 to 10 minute observations, ideas, thoughts, or rants about the literature, philosophy, psychology, and even the theology of leadership. Because listening to me talk about leadership for now around 2 to 4 minutes is still better than reading and trying to understand yet another business book. Even that business book your coworker won't stop raving about because it quote unquote changed their life, but you can't see any difference in their leadership behavior. So how good could that author be?
Customer service used to be about the customer always being right. And then it moved to being about the customer needing to be served as quickly as possible without being made irritable and upset, because the impact of the customer's irritability and upsetness on the brand would be detrimental to the brand. Now, in our day, customer service is about getting the customer through the line, or even worse, never actually hearing from the customer at all. When something doesn't work in the process of the delivery of the service or the product, customer service is all about ignoring the customer, engaging at the barest possible human level, and then taking the money and running. Oh, and when the customer complains about such treatment or calls the treatment to attention, the customer is for sure wrong. The customer, of course, then is pathologized, or even worse, the customer is criminalized. We see this most notably in the airport TSA lines, and the behavior, of course, has gotten worse since COVID. By the way, all of our current marketing solipsism about the efficacy of large language models isn't going to serve to make customer service in the future any better. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. Talking to a robot instead of a human being has only ever served to frustrate and demoralize humans when they run smack dab into bureaucratic indifference, coupled with arrogant entitlement and an overwhelming sense of hubris, backed increasingly by the threat of either corporatized or bureaucratized violence. This will not get better when all of the robots delivering customer service are all humanoid looking, but the humans will still have deeply human problems that need to be solved through the removal of red tape rather than through the increasing of it. I don't know what the way out of this labyrinthian Gordian knot we've weaved as a postmodern culture, supposedly poised at the height of capitalism, is. I can only point out the obvious problem and point to all the spots where it's at, but I know for sure that something will have to break, something will have to give, either with the humans or with the brands that supposedly are run by humans. And well, that's it for me.
Thank you for listening to the Leadership Lessons from the Great Books podcast today. And now that you've made it this far, you should subscribe to the audio version of this show on all the major podcast players, including Apple iTunes, Spotify, YouTube Music, and everywhere else where podcasts are available. There's also a video version of our podcast on our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe to the video version of this podcast on the Leadership Toolbox channel on YouTube. Just search for Leadership Toolbox and hit the subscribe button there on YouTube. And while you're doing that, leave a 5-star review if you like what we're doing here on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Just go below the player and hit 5 stars. We need those reviews to grow, and it's the easiest way to help grow this show. And tell all your friends, of course, in leadership. By the way, if you don't like what we're doing here, well, you can always listen to another leadership show. There are several other good ones out there. At least that's what I've heard. All right. Well, that's it for me.